Means and services.
You found Atomic Android Radio.
Hi, and welcome to today's episode of In Universe, where we talk the ins and outs of our favorite fictional universes. Today, we're talking about Superman. Man who can fly, leap tall buildings in a single bound, faster than a locomotive, stronger than a train, something like that.
Hold on. I was gonna get this in quick on the beginning. More like stupid, man. Am I right?
Wow. Oh my gosh, dude. That's amazing. Who told you that?
I shouldn't clap for myself. That's a very lame thing.
That's really
to do.
sad. I mean, nobody would have known if you hadn't said anything. This is an audio medium.
Well, no, they would have heard two layers of clapping.
What if we had a
only
third person here?
There's only two of us in the fucking call right now. So unless we had a sneaky just fucking watch the podcast whilst it's recording person.
You mean like a CFO, which a lot of podcasts have?
I was gonna say which we should get an intern to do for.
Like the person who like produces.
No. Yeah, I understand that. But I'm talking about a little I'm picturing like little middle schooler I paid to sit here, watch me record a podcast so I could see his facial reactions and understand what our target demographic is keen.
Is our target demographic middle schoolers? Because I don't like that. I don't understand middle schoolers, dude.
I think they would be our top target demographic because who else would listen?
Well, I mean,
anyways,
no one. But
Superman.
But yes, but can we get back? Because like I don't really have anything in common with a middle schooler. They're all about TikTok and Fortnite. And
no
I don't
one
get
gives a shit about middle schoolers. Talk about Superman.
All right, let's talk about Superman. I really like Superman. He's one of my favorite characters. I think when he's done well, he's done very well, but he's done pretty poorly also most of the time.
No, there's nothing I love more than a unbreakable pinnacle hope of a Superman. Like most characters, I would be like, oh, if they're more like if they're more conflicted in what they're doing, they're more interesting. But with Superman, he's the best when he's doing what he thinks is right, and I'm all in for that.
Yeah, he's a character that doesn't need an arc. You know, that I think that's the problem with a lot of like Superman media. They try to give him an arc, like a character arc he goes through, which, you know, if done well can be pretty good. Like that's most of All-Star Superman. But like I think in general, especially if you're making you know, something other than a comic book, like TV, movie or something, Superman doesn't need to like change throughout it.
Oh yeah,
he can act pretty similar to like how Paddington does, how other people go through arcs just by interacting with him, but Paddington stays Paddington the whole time.
Yeah, I will say, to be fair, when it comes to comic books in particular, with Superman, they kind of, because they need to put something out every week or whatever, you kind of want to get something done. But if you're doing like a standalone like story arc, like a show or a movie, or just even like a comic arc, you just leave Superman how he's supposed to be. He's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think really, because pretty much everything that is out that is like media for Superman that isn't the comics, aside from maybe the Christopher Reeve films, they try to make it too much. He's not already a hopeful guy. He's not already inspirational. He needs to figure out how to be inspirational, which I just don't think they balance as well as they probably could.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
You good?
I'm coming down with the Palpatine syndrome.
What, vague coughing until you eventually cough up blood or whatever?
Look, I don't even know if that's... I don't think that's something Palpatine does.
It's
I can't
not.
recall him coughing once.
Do you mean heart palpitations?
No, I don't. I meant Palpatine. I meant what I said, and I said what I meant.
Fair enough. What are some of our favorite Superman things, comic book, movie, etc.?
Man, I would love, because for most characters, I'd be like, oh, there's this really cool game they have. But Superman just does it. The best Superman game
Is
is
the Superman Returns
Injustice.
video game?
No,
That
the
game
best
rules.
the best Superman game is Injustice, and Superman is not Superman in that.
He's just not. Like, I like the Injustice storyline. I like the games, and like when they turned them into comics, I read those too, and they were pretty good. But that's just definitely not Superman content. Like, he might as well be any other like character.
Yeah, it's cool to see this symbol that Superman is used in like a way that they use in it. But when I think of prime Superman material, that's not something
Yeah,
I think of.
and it works pretty well because of how like shockingly un-Superman it is. That's when it was originally made. That was one of the things that really made it stand out. But
Yeah.
everybody else kind of took that as, oh, so that's how you make a popular Superman thing. And so they just also did it. And now at this point, that's more prevalent in media than it isn't.
Mm-hmm. Same thing. The same thing with Man of Steel. How they went with like, I don't know, dark. Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. A melancholy Superman.
Yeah, he's pretty solemn in that film, which
Yeah.
I don't really like that film very much, but I can give it credit in that it was a origin story. And for that, okay, maybe you can do a sort of he's coming into his own as a Superman, but he never really does.
Oh yeah, no. That what Man of Steel is basically Suicide and Shazam uh withstanding is basically the whole DC, what do they call it, EU?
Yeah, the EU, the extended universe.
That what you get in that movie is what you're gonna get for the rest of the movies.
Yeah, with very few exceptions. I don't know. Some of my favorite Superman things. One that I like quite a bit, and I was really disappointed when they adapted it for the screen, was Superman Red Sun. Because as a comic, that one is a very good job of making Superman different, but he's still like, for the most part, at least during the early part of it, that symbol of hope. Like, they do a very good job of not making him evil right away.
Mm-hmm. And he is Superman if Superman was put into that situation. It's not a different character with the same look and name.
Right, and powers. He is Superman. Like, one of the panels that really like sort of encapsulates that is pretty early on when Sputnik is going to crash into Metropolis, and he flies there to save them, even though they're American. And there's this really rad panel, which I'm pretty sure is a reference to an older Superman panel, where he's holding Sputnik in one hand and grabbing a kid's balloon that he let go and giving it back to him in the same movement.
Yeah,
that's so Superman
shit right there.
Like, that's encapsulates what Superman should be. He cares about people.
Yeah, he cares about each person he saves, and he's the pillar. One thing I find interesting is his whole unbreakable pillar of hope thing. I love for him. But one character I don't like for it is Captain Marvel or Shazam.
Yeah.
He was basically just the same thing. And it's interesting how I find with him, he was way more. Shazam became far more interesting when he was made more human, like when he wasn't made pure of heart and everything like that.
Yeah, I think the best example of what you're talking about probably comes from the Justice League Unlimited episode Clash, where he fights Superman. Because that episode does a good job of, he is a hopeful presence and he does inspire that. But it's not because he's inspiring, it's because he pretty literally has the sort of childlike innocence and wonder that makes the adults that are around him sort of act better by that presence.
That's something oh man, Shazam. I love
Yeah, that episode is amazing. That is like pinnacle superhero content that just exists.
Yeah.
And in that they show that there is a difference. The whole like main conflict of it is Superman and him and how they are different. Though it is pretty funny that the biggest crux of it is that Superman's jealous. Like that's just a funny thing.
I really enjoy that Superman like looks at this and he's like, oh man, look how good this guy is. It doesn't even seem like he's trying or anything, and he's like not really, because he's a kid,
right,
just having fun.
And like they do a good job, because the conflict of that episode really depends on Superman being cynical like that. But they didn't go ahead and just make Superman a cynical person, which a lesser writer probably would have done.
Yeah.
But instead they had it be basically because Lex was, manipulating them, which makes sense as to why Superman would be cynical about that. It's fucking Lex Luthor. He knows Lex. There are very few characters who know each other as well as Lex and Superman. I mean, the only other one that gets, in a similar breath is Joker and Batman, which that varies depending on writer.
And it's that way because they say it's that way.
Yeah.
Where Lex and Superman, it's kind of shown that way.
Yeah, with Lex and Superman, you can tell they understand each other because they know how the other one is going to think, because they're both, for lack of a better word, sane. They both have a logic that they follow, and you can show that they understand each other by having one of them understand that logic. But for Joker and Batman, Joker specifically doesn't have a logic, and I don't really see how Batman understands it better than anybody else.
Yeah, it's just Joker does whatever he wants to do or whatever, and Batman's like, oh, I'm the best at understanding why he does those things.
One thing about Joker and Batman, which is off topic, but I'm fine with it, I would love to see like just an unedited him having to set up one of his death traps, because that's something you don't really see. Like you see him set up a big vat of acid and sharks and knives coming everywhere, but like watching him put up a tank, order sharks, like fill it with acid, setting up spring-loaded knives, like that's such slow, menial, repetitive tasks that, like, imagining Joker doing that is just silly.
To be fair, a lot of the times Joker does have goons.
Fair.
That will just do that.
I don't get anyway. Like,
who
willingly agrees to work? Like, I think I'm not a huge fan. I do like them, but the best one that sort of implies where he gets goons is the Nolan Dark Knight. Because he doesn't just like hire guys off the street. He goes to like mentally ill people and people in Arkham, and he kind of just forces them to do what he wants to do because they can't really go against it. And so that's how he's able to get people to work for him, which I think if you're going to have him have goons, that's the way to do it.
No, but one person who's in a similar vein, who more times doesn't have goons than they do have goons, is Riddler. And I want to see Riddler by himself setting, because Joker will have like you hang over a vat of acid with like sharks and shit in it, but Riddler will set up a whole ass labyrinth you have to go through.
He'll set up like this whole thing and leave clues everywhere. And that's the only thing I could see Riddler doing that. Like I could see him sitting next to a wall with a screwdriver having to screw something in. Like it's still funny and it's still pretty sad, but I don't know. I think you could do something where you watch a Batman villain do that kind of stuff, because at a certain point that's really, really sad and gets to the point of them being like mentally ill better than probably any other way. You can show they're crazy. They shot a guy, but like relatively sane people shoot people all the time. Seeing a guy who like probably has OCD like sit there and screw in death trap after death trap, hammering away, measuring with tape.
Seeing a guy sit there and prepare for like a month for something he's gonna use against Batman in like maybe a 2-hour span.
Yeah, I think that might get the point across about like, yes, they're evil, yes, they're villains, but they're also like genuinely people who need psychiatric help.
Yeah, no, that'd
I
be
think that
pretty
might do
good.
it better than like any other way you could show
Mhm.
that, because like you could try to play it for how badass it is. Like there are shows or like things that kind of like Batman is one like that. That's basically prep time, and where it's supposed to show how badass, like in Batman versus Superman, where he does a combined exercise slash make kryptonite weapon montage. Like that is essentially what that is.
Mhm.
And that's when you try to play it as like, oh man, look at him preparing, he's so badass. But like if you take away the epic sounding music, it's just sad. It's just a man sitting in a dark room doing a bunch of stuff to attack a person who doesn't know and doesn't really have beef with him.
No, and that's one thing that would, because a lot of things like to pull the whole, oh, Batman, you're just like us deal. But like the point never really, yeah, he's a guy who like puts on a costume and beats up the poor.
Yeah.
But like you can see there's an obvious difference between them. But if you show, like, if there was like a Batman show or like a TV show
If
that
such a
showed,
thing were to exist.
yeah, that showed Riddler doing that sort of thing, and then like a good number of episodes later showing Batman do,
Yeah, it'd be
like,
a really good sort of juxtaposition of
mhm,
how they are both mentally ill in one way or the other. Like you're right, that would be very good to like sort of
yeah.
show the contrast there.
But anyways, we're
Yeah,
not here
we've
to
talked about
fucking,
Batman quite a bit
we're
on
not
this
here to
episode
talk
about
about
Superman.
fucking Batman. Uh Superman. What's that guy got going on?
Now
No.
I know they didn't do any more reshoots for Zacky Boy's Snyder cut. Um, are they gonna keep his mustache?
No, I think they show uh I think there's a scene at the beginning of that, like in one of the trailers, that they have him that standing there,
Oh
and
no,
he
you're right.
doesn't have the
You're right.
mustache.
The mustache was specifically because of the timing when Whedon took over. So he only
Mhm.
had that for those reshoots, and they said they're not using any of Whedon stuff.
Yeah,
And if
okay.
they had more reshoots, they would have got him for more recently when he just doesn't have the mustache. Good thing he didn't make that mustache like his look.
Now I would have been into, because you know how in the comics, Death of Superman,
He gets a
when
sick mullet.
yeah, sick mullet, because his hair keeps growing in the healing
He
pod.
should
Or
have a mullet and a
mullet
mustache.
and beard, like
Yes.
full beard
Oh my
mullet
god, that would
Superman
rule.
in a black
Jesus
suit.
Superman?
I'd be like, ah, dude, someone's about to get their ass handed to them
Look,
right now.
Zach already loves making characters as Jesus stands in. He already did it with Superman. One more step and he could just make Superman look like Jesus.
Dude, Jesus Superman would be the best.
Oh, that would be so funny. Like screw all the first movie stuff about like false gods and all of that. He comes back looking like Jesus. I might literally be like, oh, so he's the Antichrist, I guess.
Yeah, if he's Jesus but wearing all black, it's like, he's we've been raptured. I didn't realize we were raptured.
I did remember from the trailer for Zach that they kept the
For Zach, the
for
trailer
Zach
for
the Zach show.
You know the movie coming out, Justice League Zach?
It might as well be. No, but
Yeah, is it? No, okay.
it's
I was
Zack
gonna say,
Snyder's
no, I was gonna say, is it still called Justice League Dawn of Justice?
No,
But
that was
that's not what
Batman
the
v
movie.
Superman.
Yeah, it's Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice.
What was it? Oh, in the trailer, they still have the scene when they're bringing back Zeus to life, when they do all that shit. They still drop the picture of his dad in there. So that implies that it is like important that the picture of his father landed in the goo. And like, does the goo understand that? Is it like, yes, emotional tether.
I don't
We will
know.
connect that to the Superman.
Don't ask me about the goo, man. I don't know about
What
the
is that goo
goo.
for? I think I remember it being like the birthing matrix for the
Yeah,
Kryptonians.
because that's where Doomsday came out
Yeah,
of, right?
but
Yeah, he came out of the goo.
how is it that they
Yeah,
have a
he put. Oh my god, I'm
he
trying to
put
remember
Zod in
Batman's.
there with a bit of
Yeah,
his
he
own
put
blood?
Zod's dead body in there, and then did he cut his
He cut his
palm open?
palm and scooped out a bunch of his own
What
blood.
what was that for?
I assume, and this is just me speculating right now, it was to make it's a foreshadowing for like a Superboy type deal. When you mix Kryptonian and human DNA, you get an abomination kind of dealio.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really see why that made him a Doomsday, but
Yeah.
and specifically the human DNA is supposed to not make it into a Bizarro. And you could argue the Doomsday in that movie is more a Bizarro stand-in.
Yeah, no, he seemed more bizarro than Doomsday.
Like he obviously looked like Doomsday, but his
And,
origin and the way he acted
and
seemed a
like
lot
his
more.
laser eyes and
Yeah,
shit. Like he had the adaptive Doomsday shit.
and he
But if
had the
you're gonna have
spikes.
Doomsday, just give me massive punches. Make
Yeah,
me feel those
and
punches.
Doomsday is such a apocalyptic, pun not intended, figure. Like he should not be a starter villain. Doomsday is not the
Yeah,
kind of guy
no.
you try on your first day as a team.
Yeah, same thing with Darkseid. Those should not be the like, oh no, we got to build a team to take this guy down.
Yeah, and this brings up another thing that I mention all the time off podcast, but I'm so tired of Darkseid. I am
Oh yeah,
so tired of Darkseid being like the villain for DC Comics.
I'll agree to that, but I'll tweak it a bit as I'm so tired of watered down Darkseid.
That's fair.
Like, if you gave me like Darkseid, like lots of build up for it, being like this is the greatest chance of us not making it through this as we can, and like make him a villain that matters, then I'm all in for that. If you're just gonna have Darkseid show up so the fucking Justice League or whatever could slap him around, then I'm not in for that.
That's fair. I mean, even for me, even at that point, I'm like, I'm still tired of seeing it. I'm tired of him
Yeah,
being the
no,
villain.
that's
DC has
fair.
so many villains that like pick someone else. Someone else could like I would love for some more Brainiac representation. Show me Brainiac.
Brainiac's having to come around. Brainiac's been in more shit. He's been in three video games now.
Yeah, that's fair. I know why he's good for video games
Yeah,
because
mind controlling
mind
good guys to
control,
fight
good
other
guys.
good.
Yeah,
That's literally in the three video. It's Lego Batman 3, Injustice 2, and now the Suicide Squad game coming out. That's literally why he's
yeah.
in video games.
Which bit lame, but whatever.
Yeah.
But Brainiac was one. There are others though. Like I don't know. Like just
Give me a Justice League movie. Fuck off with this whole DCU thing. Give me a new Justice League movie where the Justice League's like, oh, we gotta come together because this giant fucking starfish is pulling itself out of the sea.
That would be amazing.
We gotta handle this shit.
And that gives you a similar heroes fighting heroes or whatever. Is literally mind controls. Which,
yeah.
From set photos, I guess spoilers for a thing that I don't know is true. It seems like that might be the villain of the new Suicide Squad movie by James Gunn. You see guys with shit on their face that seems like it's probably a Starro.
Okay, that's basically just the same thing they did in the last movie, though.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, I guess I like it because it's a lot wackier than.
Yeah, that's one thing I am real like. I'm actually excited to see this movie.
Yes,
because it's going all out for it. Like it feels like what James Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy for Marvel is what he's doing with Suicide Squad for DC
Yeah.
using shit like Polka Dot
Oh, I'm
Man
so
and
when Polka Dot Man
Ratcatcher
was shown in the
and
trailer, it
Weasel.
made me so
Yeah,
happy.
I I was not looking forward to this movie at all. I watched that trailer. It gives me a title card for Polka Dot Man.
Oh
I'm all
yes.
in.
Oh, and Ratcatcher is a character I quite like. I love me some Ratcatcher.
Fuck
Um,
some
Ratcatcher rules. He's one of the best villains ever created. I'll die on that hill. And it just rules that he's gonna be in a movie. I never would have thought Ratcatcher would be in a movie.
Yeah, no, that's one thing that people have been talking about, and I think it's a fair and probably a real thing about superhero fatigue
Yes.
coming out. But that's one thing that I feel that sometimes and everything, and I'm like, oh, like that's a real worry. But then I think back and I'm like, okay, imagine a little 10-year-old me who didn't think they would ever get a movie with the Avengers together in it,
Mhm.
the would ever get a cool Shazam movie. Like 10 years ago, nobody knew who the fuck Shazam was.
Nah.
He was still being called Captain Marvel back then.
Yeah, it had a cool cape instead of a weird little robe.
And if you told me even 5 years ago, you were like, dude, 2021, 2022, they're putting Ratcatcher in a full ass movie.
Yeah,
I
no.
tell you to shut your mouth because you're a dirty liar.
Yeah, I'd be like, stop lying to me, you asshole. Don't get my hopes up like that.
Don't do this to me. Don't give me hope.
That's okay. I guess we're getting on topic. That's such a weird scene.
Oh, I love that scene.
It's like the whole directing on that scene is so like it's raining so hard, so his already weird haircut is just drooping onto his face. Plus, he was wearing like a face tight mask, so his hair is like just stuck down to his eyebrows. And
Look.
he turns around like such a thumb, and he's like, "Don't do that. Don't give me hope."
Look, we could talk about these Marvel movies another time, but
Yeah,
I will
okay.
say there is no scene in any of those movies with Hawkeye that is not cinematic gold.
I just like I didn't like Hawkeye for a lot.
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
okay.
Superman.
Why doesn't Superman use the Phantom Zone more?
I would be using that all the time.
He's got a ready-made prison gun that no one's gonna escape out of except for the occasional Zods.
Drop Lex Luthor into the Phantom Zone. No, everybody's gonna be like, oh, Lex Luthor disappeared. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, Superman did it, because it's not gonna be laser eyes or like a fucking hole in the wall.
No, yeah. Oh, sweet reference to that TV show, Hole in the Wall. Everyone loves.
Hire Jimmy Olsen. Don't even hire him.
No,
He's
just
your
switch
pal.
it out with his camera.
Yeah, go, you, Clark Kent, go take Jimmy Olsen to do some reporting on Lex Luthor.
Tell him he's got a cool new camera.
Yeah, be like, hey, Jimmy Olsen, I bought you this cool new camera. And then when Jimmy Olsen goes to snap a photo of Lex Luthor,
it just turns him into a weird little
Zone.
glass pane.
Okay, hold on. In the Christopher Reeve Superman, the Silicone S, is that supposed to be the Phantom Zone?
No. You see them in the Phantom Zone later, like you see the glass pane that they're in floating through space. That's just a cool silicone S he has.
I think that sweet Silicone S should make a comeback. Get rid of the Phantom Zone. Who cares about that? Doomsday shows up. Gonna be a death of Superman. Silicone S.
No, see, I'm not usually a fan of wacky, but with how just boringly gritty the DCEU is, I am clamoring for more goofy
give me
DC stuff. And like, give me a movie of just pre-crisis Superman with every single power he's ever shown, and just go hog wild, shooting little Supermans out of his hands, kissing people's memories away, rebuilding walls with his eyes.
That would be so good. Yeah, no, DCEU needs somewhere. I
Explain
would
it
have
by
been.
having him fight Mixopidalic, and Mixopidalic messes with him. Boom! Now he can do all that stuff.
I think it at least needs more fun. And I would have been like, oh, Flash is a movie they're gonna do it with. But apparently the first Flash movie is
Flashpoint, which is so dumb. Stop starting at the end.
That's the darkest Flash gets.
Yeah.
That's like Flash when he's like, oh no, life could suck.
Yeah, like stop. The DCEU had a fucking weird problem of starting at the very end of character storylines for a while. Like it started when it came to the main core characters at The Dark Knight Returns, The Death of Superman, Flashpoint. Like those are the ends of those characters. Fits for a while.
Those are good because they're built up for that. You've been with these characters for so long.
Flashpoint does not matter if you do not already know quite a bit about the DC universe.
Oh, yeah. No, Flashpoint, the comic and the movie are still really enjoyable.
They're still good, but you get so much more out of them.
You get so much. If you
like
know...
exponential. The more you know, the more you get out.
The Shazam kids being a thing... even just like the basic like Superman crash landing in the same day, like that you're like, oh cool, he crash land. You see Shazam with the Shazam family and a tiger fuse into one Shazam, you're like, oh my god, this is awesome.
That rules so much. Like I like Flashpoint quite a bit. It's one of my favorite comic book runs. The 5-issue like limited series is pretty good. It's not my favorite part. I love those little side stories that they put out for Flashpoint. Those are amazing.
Like Flashpoint Batman is really good.
Dick Grayson and the Flying Graysons is amazing. That one's Dead Man and the Flying Graysons. That one is so good. Like that is genuinely very, very good. So good that I think we should just do a Flashpoint episode.
Look, I'm down to do a Flashpoint.
So we'll save that for that. But
I think I might want to.
It rules.
I think I might want to binge some Flashpoint before that.
Oh, same. I have all of the comics. I might just read all of those before we do that episode and watch the movie.
Yeah. So keep an eye out for that Flashpoint episode we forget to do and never come back.
Yeah, that we never come back to or talk about in another episode or something. That'll be fun. Although Superman in Flashpoint is so fucking cool.
Oh, I love Superman in Flashpoint. That instant connection you get where he's like people can be good and people can be friends.
Yeah, and he immediately, that's what's so great about that. He is still Superman. Like he's still a good person, which I think should be at the heart of any Superman, unless you're specifically like, oh, this one was born in Nazi Germany. Yeah.
I don't need
him to be a good person,
to be the pinnacle of man.
Like he shouldn't be. Do not, if any of you writers out there are making a spec script for a Nazi Superman film, don't.
You see Jeremy right now looking down. He's like, man, it scribbles out his Nazi Superman.
These fucking nerds are right.
Yeah, we know, Jeremy. We
know. But it's such a good, because immediately as soon as he gets outside, he's like, okay, so now that I know I have the power, I've got to protect my friends. Like he doesn't need Uncle Ben dying or his dad to be like, please don't save me, I'm in a tornado.
He just needs people to show him kindness, to know I should show other people kindness.
Right. And
this feels good and I want to make other people feel good.
Like, and that's such a simple way to show that. And such a great way to do it. Like that's and his own standalone comics in Flashpoint are like great. I wasn't huge on like Wildstorm comics. I've never been a huge fan of them. I mean, they're cool. I've seen some of their stuff, like Grifter's all right. I like Midnighter and Apollo, but I didn't know much about Apollo. So having him be the main villain of Project Superman is so cool.
For the longest time, thought Grifter was Red Hood in a shitty costume.
I could see that. Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
looks pretty similar.
And then I think it was the Flashpoint comic, or
That fun, that
Flashpoint,
clued
when I
you in.
realized I'm like, hey, this guy's not Red Hood.
No, I get he does look heaps like Red Hood, like didn't
Yeah.
have much on hand, and so he just took a
Yeah,
bandana.
right.
Although at that point, did you really need the mask?
Yeah, no, I think I would say that the Grifter costume is a better Red Hood costume than some of the Red Hood costumes I've seen.
That's fair. I'll agree
Like-
to that.
Like, I cannot stand that bubble helmet one with the red skull on the
Oh
chest.
yeah, God, that one's
With the
awful.
like leotard. No, I can't stand that one. The new one where he's got like that weird mask,
Like the
and,
weird
like,
Bane mask.
he's got the
I'm
weird,
not
it's
super into that.
fine. Like, it's not really Red Hood to me, but it's fine. But yeah, the Grifter is, I thought, was Red Hood for like ages.
I like Grifter. I think he could be cooler. Like I said, I don't know much about him, but
Mhm.
from what I know is he's basically like a Red Hood or Punisher type, but also he's one of the only people who can see this type of alien. And so his main thing is he goes and hunts down that alien. And it's a weird,
Yeah.
it's a weird, it's just a weird premise.
You know who he's also heaps like? Arsenal.
Yeah, he's sort of like if you took Arsenal and Red Hood and then smushed them together.
Yeah.
If they
then you get
fusion
Grifter.
hard.
Oh, that's a reference I understood.
Yeah, yeah.
That's Naruto.
What?
Yeah, no, I've been catching up on my Narutos.
Yeah, okay. That
Superman.
has derailed me. Superman in those comics, they make Neil Sinclair Apollo into like they infuse Doomsday DNA into him, and you see him slowly start to learn how to use that to his advantage.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like with the artist, I don't remember who does the art for that comic, but they do a very good job.
Oh yeah, most of the art in Flashpoint
It's great. It's like great
so
across the
good.
board.
Yeah.
The only one that I think has a bit too much of that sort of 90s comic grime is the Justice League Dark one. I think they're called the Secret Seven in
Yeah, I don't think I've
in
seen
Flashpoint. That one's where they just get a bunch of the magic characters and make them kind of edgy. And that one's real lame because they all die like instantly. Like they all, spoiler alert, I guess, for a like 10-year-old comic by now.
for a
Literally 10-year-old comic.
a 10-year-old spin-off comic.
Yeah,
of,
a 10-year-old tie-in comic to another super popular comic.
to another super popular comic that most people will be like, yeah, I'll watch the movie and be fine with.
Yeah, so spoiler
Even though
alert.
that movie fucking rules.
It's so cool. Like
one of the best comic adaptions.
I watched it recently. It's really good. There are some really weird CGI flash shots in that though.
Oh
that
yeah,
look
no,
like
that's
trash.
That's fair.
Like there's a couple times he runs around as a CG man, and it is really gross to watch.
Yeah, no, I think I know what you're talking about. But yeah, that movie rules. One thing I like with the movie over the comic is Batman killing Reverse Flash with a gun rather than the sword, because I've never like that panel where he's like behind him stabbing the sword into him has always looked a bit goofy to me, but the shot where you see the hole in his head and Batman standing behind him with the like holding the gun, it was always so badass.
Yeah, I don't mind the shot with the sword. I think Batman with the sword is fine, but I will agree that that is a cooler looking shot and has a little bit more meaning to it because he's using Joe Chill's gun, which in the other one he's just using some random Amazonian sword. He's
using Joe Chill's gun to save his son.
Yeah, which is just adds another layer onto that.
Yeah,
that makes it a little bit better. I'd agree. Oh man, you know how they have those little featurettes at the end of some DC animated movies, like there's one for the Spectre and Green Arrow and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's the Superman Shazam movie.
The showcase, yeah, DC
Yeah.
showcase.
Because that movie's only like a half an hour long because
Yeah.
it's one big fight. It rules.
It rules.
It's
That movie is
badass.
sick as hell.
Yeah, no, that movie fucking rules.
But yeah, if they had just done a bunch of DC showcases for the individual, like some of them better known or at least more interesting to have animated, Flashpoint tie-ins, that would be so cool.
That would be so cool. I also had the thought that it's kind of done with Spectre, but that'd be a good way to get people around to know the Justice League Dark characters.
Yeah, I think that would be
those little showcases for each one, because like all of them have such a cool detail, like cool bits about them that you don't need much to explain what's going on. You just need kind of a recap,
and you don't have the space for that in an actual DC thing.
Sitting there going, oh, that's Swamp Thing. He's like a swamp guy connected to this thing called the Green. Don't get me into that.
If they bring that up at all, if they bring up the Green in the slightest.
Yeah, which they should. That it makes Swamp Thing way more interesting than just Big Plant Man.
Yeah. Oh, a good Animal Man thing would be cool. Like delve into Connected to the Red.
That would be cool. But Superman.
Yeah.
This is the Superman / DC episode.
That's all of them. I mean, like, not all of them. I might go into DC and Marvel, but the point being, look, the loose structure. I don't care.
We in most DC topics, we will probably dip into other DC themes.
Yeah,
because that's just how our brains work.
That's how most people's brains work. That's why references are so good. That's why anything has a reference. Your brain is like, oh, I know that. That makes me in.
I'm in on it. I got a pass.
Yeah, and then boom, you're in.
Or you quickly go look up a YouTube breakdown video of wrestling and pretend you're in.
I mean, at a certain point after you watch one of those, you are in.
Yeah, no, that's
you do know it now. I mean, you didn't get the reference then, but you understand it retroactively. You've retconned your own life.
I was gonna eat a peanut butter cracker, but I decided not to because I'll stick in my mouth for a while.
Be like when they need to make animals talk on TV. Oh, Crypto the Super Dog is an animal who talks on TV in the animated television show. There's my connecting tissue.
Oh, no. Did it?
Who trained Crypto?
I
want to say Superman, but in a lot of things, he's not there till pretty late in the game for Soups.
Yeah.
Was he Superman's dog? I know in some versions he is specifically Jor-El's, like the family dog who also gets launched out, I think.
we have two ships.
One of them is dog-sized.
But too bad we have one that's kid-sized. We don't have a kid. We could shove our dog in there.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, so who trains Crypto? Who's like teaching him not to rip the throats out of anybody who comes near him?
No, I would be teaching him to rip the throats out.
Well, that's why you're not Superman.
If I had Crypto, most people can't fucking deal with me. Crypto could probably kill Superman.
No, yeah, I mean, a dog has a decent chance of killing a man. So a super dog has a decent chance of killing a Superman.
That's math. That's just math. Come at me, atheists.
He must be quick because Superman's pretty quick and a dog's faster than a man. So like,
I think I don't know all about if all at the same time, but I think if you trained Crypto to go after the Justice League, they'd be fucked.
All at the same time, they could probably take him, but
yes.
One by one, the only one they each could put up a decent fight. Flash would probably just keep running away.
But like, Crypto's on him. He's coming. If Flash slows down a bit, Crypto's gonna tackle his ass.
Yeah.
Don't slow down, Flash. Dogs could go run much longer than men can run.
Right, but Flash is faster.
Yeah, but Flash is gonna get tired.
but Crypto has a dog brain. You know when you throw a ball but don't actually throw it, you just palmed it and put it behind your back, and the dog still runs after it. He can do that. He's
Yeah,
quick enough to do that with himself.
yeah. Does
So
Crypto
like,
have heat vision?
yes. I don't know when he decided like what part of the dog brain is like laser eyes time, but he can. It's real scary when he does. Crypto shooting lasers is such a weird thing because like for everything else, there is an equivalent to a dog. Like breathing is a thing he can do. Ice breath that you never see him do. Running, super strength. That's all pretty instinctual for an animal. But where would Crypto get the instincts for laser vision? Because he couldn't have got them on Krypton. He wouldn't have laser vision on Krypton.
Yeah,
So he must have been trained to use laser eyes.
because Superman, for the most time, he doesn't instinctually know how to use his powers. He
No.
learns them when he
Right.
grows up.
But assumedly that's because he's a human. Like animals have more instinct just in general.
Well, yeah, but like when babies are born, they like know how to cry and breathe and piss and shit. If like if if Kryptonians had superpowers all the time,
Then yeah, they should have the instinct for it. But
Yeah,
they don't. They on Krypton they didn't have it. Where they evolved, they didn't have powers. So like they shouldn't have any instincts in that regard. Where would they come from?
yeah. Well,
So why do they have the organs for heat vision?
yeah.
Why would that
that's-
evolve?
I'm guessing it must have evolved and then got suppressed.
You see, I don't know if I'm making this up wholesale or if I heard it somewhere, but I think I remember seeing somewhere that there was a theory that Krypton's star was yellow and then went through like stars do a decay and became red. So they had all this time to evolve powers from the yellow sun. Then they lost those powers, and there was no reason to get rid of the powers, evolutionarily speaking. So they just kind of lay dormant.
Yeah, no, because when people hear that Superman's a Kryptonian,
They're like, yes.
they're like, oh fuck, those are something that's a bitch to deal with.
Which could be because the Kryptonians sent out colony ships all the time. I think the Fortress of Solitude sometimes is one. But definitely the Daxamites, that's where they come from. A colony of Kryptonians crashed on another planet and like populated it.
Yeah, my biggest thing with Kryptonian colonies, if they left and they found out they have powers, why would anybody need to be convinced to leave the planet because it's about to blow up?
Yeah.
I would be like, wait, if I leave, I could fly and shoot lasers?
The only
yes, please.
Obviously, the only explanation for that must be that there wasn't contact in between. It was, we'll send you out on a haymaker. We're basically throwing you into space and hoping you hit something you can live on. We don't know about powers, so that's not like on the table when we're sending you out.
Yeah, you never see. Well, it's probably because it's destroyed now that I think about it. But you never see, you always see only messages, not like communications.
Yeah, you never really, I mean, to be fair, you know, you don't get heaps of Krypton in general. Like I have no idea of the like culture, really technological level of Krypton. Because sometimes, oh yeah, okay. Okay. Yeah, so you don't really get a sense of like really how technologically advanced Krypton really is.
Yeah, because sometimes it's always real different too. Because sometimes it's like real like advanced technology with flying cars and shit. Sometimes it's just crystals and like rings and shit.
And like crystals does imply quite a bit of advancement. Like, and I remember seeing it might have been like Michio Kaku, which only big fucking nerds will get that reference.
Is there a T behind me?
I
guess my poster and my bookshelf.
Yeah, I think it might have been like Michio Kaku or something. He's a physicist who is also a nerd, so he talks about like pop culture science. It might have been him, it might have been somebody else. But they were talking about how you could use crystals as like computing because you can encode stuff on the crystalline structure, which is cool and interesting and could be like pretty technologically advanced.
Or or they're using the crystals to get rid of their negative energies.
Oh, dude, crystal culture.
Okay, this is why very off topic. But in I guess that's what you call it, crystal culture. Do they think crystals would be real good for fighting ghosts?
I mean, assumedly, yeah.
Yeah, right. That's what I've always thought. Oh, if they could prove, well, first, if you could prove ghosts exist, and then prove that crystals work, I would make like knuckles out of crystals and go around punching ghosts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's quite an overlap there in the Venn diagram of crystal people and ghost people. Like they might not be the same circle. There might be ghost people who are like, no, ghost hunting is science. No crystals here.
Yeah, no, I could definitely tell you there are people who will draw that line and will not move an ounce over that line.
Which is a pretty funny arbitrary skepticism. You already think energy from another plane of existence is coming here, and I guess is also the consciousness of an 18th century boy.
All right. Do you think that Superman could win in a fist fight against Jesus Christ?
Yes, instantly yes. Jesus is specifically not shown being able to throw down. The only time you see him do it once is in the Money Changers, and he's basically fighting a bunch of people doing their job, and he's got a whip. Like it's not even a fair fight. Jesus fights unfair and will get his ass kicked.
Look, I might be pulling this straight out of my ass, but I feel like Jesus has holy force fields.
I don't think he does.
But I do think Jesus does classify as magic, and he could blind Superman.
If you ask the church and slash or like religious people, I think they disagree. I think Jesus qualifies under like miracle, not magic. There is a distinction there.
There's no distinction there. If a miracle exists, it happens from magic.
Spectre can hurt. Spectre is religious in DC Comics.
Yes, Spectre is the wrath of God,
and he qualifies as magic. So
and
I think
he could hurt Superman. So my boy Jesus can scoop up some dirt, spit in it, and huck it in the eyes of Superman.
Superman's pretty quick. He might just dodge.
Yeah, Superman's gonna dodge that. There's not one of the established Jesus miracles that I could think of where it would work against fighting Superman.
Yeah, no. Wait, before we wrap up, because we should pretty soon here. Does Superman have blood, right? He has blood.
Superman does bleed, yes.
If Batman has taught me anything, he does bleed. But he doesn't need to drink. So when he loses blood, where does he get the water? Like the human body needs water because of blood.
Okay. He doesn't need to drink, but he does drink. He enjoys drinking.
Yes, but like his body should need to.
Is it the same as him breathing, where like it's a subconscious thing? He has all the organs and all the stuff inside him, and
because on Krypton they did need to breathe.
Yeah, and it's a subconscious thing where he's like, oh, I need to breathe, so I can't survive in space and whatnot. Is he like, I need blood in my body, so I must drink this water?
If he got like how he eventually does breathing, where he's like, I don't need that shit anymore. I'm cold turkey. Could he do that same thing with bleeding? Could he get cuts and just be fine?
Okay, yeah, if he does do that, when you stab Superman, is he good?
I think he might be good.
I mean, he's probably not good because you probably stabbed him with kryptonite dagger.
Yeah, that's that or a magic dagger. Either of those. That's kind of the only way to stab Superman.
Yeah, or kryptonite dagger, magic dagger, in a red sun regular dagger,
Very strong with a very sharp dagger.
a round blue kryptonite regular dagger,
Well, we'd be here all day if we started going through the different kryptonites.
gold kryptonite regular dagger.
Black kryptonite, regular dagger, and then a separate dagger for the other one.
Yeah, you need one regular dagger, one regular kryptonite dagger, stabbing.
Yeah, so I guess we've covered everything there is to know about Superman.
We've covered literally every single detail about Superman. And if you think we haven't, you're a liar.
Yeah, I mean, we've clearly hit you with the sum total of all human knowledge. So I think that we could call it a day.
Fucking did it.
This has been Atomic Android. We'll see you next time.
Maybe.
One.